back 30 plus years ago, I was in Virginia. I was serving 2 years in a service mission with my church, right? Now, this isn't a religious thing. This is a deal I have with God thing, and this is how it worked, right? I went into this new area, and my president called me the day I got there, and he said, hey, I need you to close down the area that you're in. Give the 30 days on the apartment that you're at, close it down. I need the missionaries in another place. And there's been 0 conversions in that area. Nobody has joined the church, not one in 2 years. There's no potential, and you can put this in your business, potential people that could be investing with you, whatever else. There was no potentials at all. The missionaries that were there had a 0 track record. And he said, I need to put people in other areas. I need you in other areas. And I had just gotten there, and I kind of liked my new missionary companion guy. So I said, can we have this conversation in 30 days? Just give me 30 days. And he said, yeah, we'll do this conversation in 30 days. I hung up the phone, and now this is important in terms of your goal setting. This is why Tiffany became a 49ers cheerleader instead of just a high school cheerleader coach or whatever, right? I took out a piece of paper, and I had my missionary companion sit down, and I said, all right, we're going to write a goal that is so big that for the rest of our lives, if we accomplish this goal, for the rest of our lives, we will know we had nothing to do with it. Okay, now this is fun. This is a fun way to start playing with the universe. This is a fun way to start bringing in powers outside of yourself, okay? And this doesn't, here's the thing, guys. People think, hey, this happened when I was in this religion, so this religion's true. No, this is a principle of faith. This is a principle of visualization, of bringing in the powers of the universe together with you when you're creating. So what I said, okay, we're going to put a goal right here that is so big that when we accomplish this, the rest of our lives will know we had nothing to do with it, right? So in that area at that time, the average for 2 years was 7 conversions into our Christian church, right? 7. That was the average for 2 years. That's 3.5 per year. That means, and we had nothing to work with, 0. So I wrote on there, 30 days from now, we will have 10. Now that's beyond impossible. 10 baptisms, not 10 people interested, not 10 whatever, 10. And I wrote a line underneath it. I said, okay, these are all the things that we're going to do. We're going to work hard, but beyond that, we need to figure out how to give back to the universe. And so we decided we would fill the entire paper up with charity work. So donating time in the old folks' home and helping the old lady fix her yard and all these things. And we wrote the entire thing with charity work. 30 days later, we met that goal. Now, the amazing thing is none of that happened from anything that we did. Not the extra doors we knocked on, the people we talked to. They were all random phone calls that would come in. This has been consistent throughout my life, okay? I will set a goal that's unbelievable. We're going to be $1 billion fund, right? An unbelievable goal. We'll set this massive goal. We'll choose to work hard. I'm making the phone calls. I'm shaving the millionaire. I'm visualizing being there. But at the same time, knowing how the universe works, I choose to give back big. And so this isn't your deal. This is my deal, right? The deal that I made at that point with my Creator was, I will feed your sheep. I will do the things to help other people. And in exchange, instead of saying, hey, pat me on the back and look at this ego politics thing, these are the goals that I have, right? And what's beautiful is when you've told the universe, when you've told the energy around, when you've told God exactly what it is that you want, and you're working in alignment with giving back, then and only then you start getting them. Just giving $10,000 to Child Liberation Foundation isn't going to build a successful business unless you know what that successful business looks like, right? Getting super clear on that is going to, boom, make it so that now that universal law of exchange that comes from your donations, from you giving back, that universal law of exchange, the universe doesn't know what to exchange until you tell it exactly what it is that you want. Okay? Now, I'll share something else really fun with you. Some of you have heard this. I had used these principles to create massive success in my company, massive success in my charity work, and I had never used these principles in my personal relationships, okay? So about 6 years ago, I was in a disastrous marriage. It was my second, and both of them were disasters, and I was so unhappy in every part of my life. Everybody who looked on the outside thought that I was wow, I want to be Paul, right? Look at these big parties, look at these cars, look at this house, look at these planes, look at this. But I didn't want to be Paul. I was so empty. I was fighting every day with my spouse. And Tony Robbins called me, and he said, Paul, he said, hey, I know you're good friends with Glenn Beck. I think it would be really good to have him come to one of my big events. Why don't you bring him if you can? I'll give you guys front row seats. And I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. So I call up Glenn, and he's like, yeah, it'd be great. I'll bring my son. And so we decided we were going to take a jet and flew down to pick him up private. So we flew down to Texas to pick. Now my wife at the time, she's like, I don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. just to get on the jet. I want to fly separately and myself, buy me first class tickets, whatever. Okay, you sleep in. I'm going to go, right? So we flew down to pick up Glenn. She met us there, and we got there, and we're right there in the front row. And there's one part of Tony's event where he has you do exactly what we're doing here. Visualize what it is that you want in your business and write it all down and get really, really clear with it. And I thought, you know what? I've been here a lot. I've done this a lot. It's worked every time, but I've never used it for my relationships. And so I decided, woman in my life. So I decided that I would boom, boom, boom. Probably ought to talk faster. I'm not going to get through all this crap. So I decided that I was going to figure out how to manifest this perfect woman in my life. Now, at the time I was married, and I wrote my wife's name at the time was, and I wrote, my dream is to be happy with. My dream is to have her show up in this way for me. And this is how I show up for her kids, and this is how she shows up for my kids, and this is how we communicate. And I wrote all this, and I was about halfway through it, and I had this overwhelming feeling. You can't affect free will of anybody else. Now, this is important in your goals, guys. You can't affect somebody else's free will. Your goals of, I want Robert to be super successful. No, you can create an environment that allows Robert to change, but you can't affect his free will. And so I was inspired. I'm going to change this to the woman in my life. My greatest dream is to be with a woman who I'll be happy with the rest of my life. The woman in my life respects me. She looks up to me for all that I've achieved, and she builds me up to achieve more. She's a woman that I can respect. She lives her life in a way that I admire and I can honor. The woman in my life completely loves and adores me. Her adoration shows up for me in her actions and her words daily. She is kind and loving, and everyone can tell that she cares deeply towards me. The woman in my life is attentive to my needs. On and on and on, right? Details of what this looks like. And then I wrote an entire other one as my gift to the woman in my life. How I'm showing up for her. How I'm going to improve her life in every way. How I'm going to, my words, my actions, and everything. Because it's not just a gift. It's a give, and this is what I'm going to give to create this. Now, God knew I wasn't happy, right? Or did he? I never asked for anything different. I never asked. I was living this life thinking, oh, this is great, but inside I was just torn up. So when I got super clear about exactly what I wanted, that very night, I found out some things that God said, okay, this is what you want? Well, let me show you. It's not her. And I'm like, holy crap. And I filed for divorce before she woke up that morning because of what I found out that night. And less than 2 months later, I'm in Haiti, in line at the airport, and Superman's ex-girlfriend is there. Right? No, they weren't boys. They were dating a couple times, nothing public. But she fit everything on that list. I actually thought to myself after I was getting divorced, I'm like, you know what? I don't think I'm ever going to find somebody. I'm going to have to date 1,000 women. I really thought that. I thought I'm going to have to date 1,000 women to get there. Now, when you're co-creating with the universe, you don't have to go through 1,000 potential investors to find the one, right? You don't have to go through 1,000 business ideas to find the one that works. When I clearly identified what I wanted to, I went on about 4 dates. And then with a goal of dating 1,000 women. And God's like, you know what? I don't think that's healthy for you to be dating 1,000 women. And I would have been the most eligible bachelor in Utah, my plane, my helicopter, my boat. And God's like, no, I got better things for you to do, right? And so, boom, everything that I asked for showed up right there in Haiti of all places, right? Now, I'm telling you these stories because I need you to really internalize how important this is. Because all of this how-to stuff we're going to go through in a second is nothing if you don't get this part right. My writing of the woman in my life, just for fun, just you can see how detailed it is, right? And so you can say, okay, what is it that I need to attract in my life, and how detailed do I need to be in that? And here's the thing. If you as long as you're not affecting free will of other people, I really thought that by doing this was going to fix my marriage. But I wanted a healthy marriage. She didn't. And so God said, all right, boom, and immediately answered. So as we're going through the rest of this stuff, somebody, before you look through it all, does anybody have some ideas on what language of faith means? Certainty, okay? Remember the story about Tiffany? Hey, we're only just going to get one day, and no, we're going to win. We're going all the way. Book that for the entire week, just to make sure, because we're not getting cut, right? It's instead of using words like if and could, use words like when, right? Even things like, I was talking to somebody, I don't remember who it was, where we were talking about, they were reading me their vision statement on the phone before we ever had the event. And they were reading it to me, and they had a whole bunch of, I will, okay? I want you to write your goals in the positive present format. What does positive present mean? I am, I achieve, I do, right? These are a positive present format, right? We are $1 billion fund, right? We're not $1 billion. We need $25,000 by Friday, right? But a positive present format is the language of faith. So here's some ideas of this. Get rid of should from your entire vocabulary. Whether it's talking about the past or the future, anything, don't should on yourself. Okay? You can write that down. Stop shoulding on myself. Okay? There isn't any shoulds. There's no should for sure in the past. Quit shitting on yourself for the past. You can't change that past. There's nothing you should have done differently. You are where you are because of what happened. Today is perfect. The past is perfect as well, and you have unlimited opportunities in the future. But there's nothing you should do. It's all your choice. You can create anything that you want to. Also, I get rid of all try. Just do it or don't do it. Don't try. You're not going to try. Was Tiffany going to try to make a 49ers cheerleader? No, she's not like, well, I'm going to try, and if they let me on, if they cut me, it's not going to work. No, she's like, no, keep that hotel for the entire week, because she completely got try out of her vocabulary. Language of faith in goal setting involves positive affirmations, expressions of belief in your abilities, focus on visualization and manifestation. Here's some examples. So your affirmations: I am capable of achieving my goals. I believe in my ability to succeed. I have the strength and perseverance to achieve my dreams. Okay? These are language of faith. Visualization: I see myself achieving my goals and living my dreams. I envision the steps that I take and the success that follows. I picture myself in celebrating my achievements, right? Positive statements: with each step I take, I'm closer to my goal. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth. I'm aligned with my purpose and confidently moving forward. Expressions of belief: or I trust. I trust that the universe supports my journey. I have faith that everything is unfolding perfectly, right? Positive present stuff: everything is unfolding perfectly in my life. I believe that I am deserving of success and happiness. I am grateful. We talked about this in the last couple of days. Gratitude is the purest form of faith. Gratitude, even for things that you don't even have yet. Visualizing what it is, feeling grateful for the success in your company, feeling grateful for the people that are coming in. Now, again, you can affect free will. So don't say, I'm grateful that the Marriott family is investing in my fund. No, you can't affect their free will. I'm grateful that the right people who align with what we're creating are coming to me, and that I'll be inspired to call them, right? Those are the kinds of things that you can create and manifest. Not saying this project is the one or that person is going to do this. No, see your destination. In fact, here's an important little side note as well. And I think if you guys have heard me speak before this, you've heard this story, but I think this is super important to reiterate. And you guys can bring it out. I'm okay talking while you're feeding us. I just want to keep talking, so we're good. So your destination is more important than your vehicle. Okay? Write that down. My destination is more important than my vehicle. What does that mean in your business life? Okay? That means that if your Detroit deal works, awesome. If it doesn't, another one will come. Why? Because you've identified what your why is a successful company that you can provide for your family, etc., right? Your destination. Now, this destination is not necessarily this guy's investing with me and this deal is going to be the perfect one or whatever else. Your destination is the big picture, right? That's your vision board. Your vision board should be destination stuff. If my sister was a travel agent for a while, I called her up and I said, "Hey, Tiffany, I really want to be on a 730. I want to be on an A1. I want to be on an A1 plane. 737. I'll be on a 737 tomorrow at 3:00. She would say, "Well, where do you want to go?" Right? And then if I even get more detailed and I say, you know what, I want to make sure that it has a blue tail and 2 engines on each side, not just one. She would laugh at me. But that's how we run our lives a lot of times, right? We're so concerned about this vehicle instead of figuring out where we want to go. If instead I said, "Hey, Tiffany, I need to be speaking in New York tomorrow at 7:00, she would say, "Okay, here's what you need to do. You need to be at the Medellin airport at 6 a.m. because this is your transfer and everything else. And it won't matter to me if it's a 737 or 740. It doesn't matter if it has blue wings. It doesn't matter, right?" So getting clear on where you want to be is more important than the vehicle. So as you're building your company, as you're making those phone calls, as you're creating it, being clear on your destination is the most important part. And then just you're doing the work. You're making those phone calls. You're calling the right people. The deal flow is coming in. But when you're clear on your destination, then all of that stuff will start showing up for you. So the rest on your language of faith, commitment. I'm dedicated. I'm dedicated to the work to achieve my goals. I'm committed to my growth and my success. I persist. Now, I screwed up on this last one. Can you see what I screwed up in? Will. That was a bad word. I persist until my desired outcome, right? This will thing is, when's will? I don't know. A year from now, 15 years from now, get rid of that crap. You have a question?
Yeah, I saw an interesting thing recently where a guy was asking another guy, like, what's the difference between believing and knowing? And I hadn't thought about it, and the guy said, believing is you'll actually know for sure. Knowing is for certain. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, and that's what we're talking about is when I was looking in the mirror and I'm shaving a millionaire, right? I'm visualizing it as if it's already there. Knowing that I can achieve anything that I want to achieve if I put my mind to it. And so you can believe that that's possible, but it's taking that belief to a whole new level. Robert was trying to believe. He was begging God to help him. I believe that I can make all these extra sales. But did he really? He didn't believe in himself. And therefore, he was sabotaging that success all the way through. Okay? So keep this. Figure out what I want you to write your goals as a language of faith. In fact, if we have food and stuff, we might even do a couple exercises while we're eating. And then I'll go through some of these other things afterwards. I'm going to tell you a story because I think this is important as you're figuring out what your goals are. Okay, and I didn't have time, but I'd love to do this if I had it, but I don't. So imagine that I've got this big glass jar here. Okay, this big glass jar, and I take and I've got a bunch of rocks like this, and I put these rocks in, and I fill it all the way to the top. You guys may have heard this example. My friend Stephen Covey taught it, right? So I fill this all the way to the top, and I would ask you, is it full? Okay? It looks full because it's full of these rocks, right? And then what I do is I take out a bunch of pebbles, and I pour the pebbles in there. Is it full now? No, it's not full, right? And then I take some sand, and I'd sprinkle it in the sand. There's always more there. Is it full? No, now it looks full. And then I take out a thing of water, and I pour the water in here, right? Now is it full? Now the question I have, imagining that example like I just did it, what did we learn from that? What did we learn from that it wasn't full until I finally put the water in? What did we learn from that? Okay? You can always do more, right? You think that you did enough, but you can always, you would think that that's the answer. Guess what? It's not. No. Here's the crazy answer. If I didn't put the big rocks in, they would never fit. If I didn't start with them, okay? If I started with the water and the sand and the other pebbles, I'd never get those big rocks in there, okay? When you're putting your goals together, identify the most important ones because it's so easy to spend all of this time working on this little stuff that doesn't matter, okay? Find out what your really big rocks are, what the important things are that you need to create in your life. All of the other things, they can all come in there together. But you've got to have those ones as your priority. As you're prioritizing your day, identify what your long-term goals are and say, what are the most important things I need to do today that are in line with those big rocks, with the important things in my life? Because otherwise your entire day will get filled up with sand and water. It's okay to have that stuff, but if you don't prioritize the big rocks, they will never get there. You'll never fit them in. So as you're beginning your day, identifying, and you can do this before you go to bed so you can kind of visualize it all. First thing in the morning before you get out, take a look at what your big rocks are, what your big goals are in your life, and say, okay, what things am I doing today that can assure that I've got those things in the vase before I start getting random phone calls from all this other crap that doesn't really matter that's going to fill up my day, right? Go out in the garage. I'm going to reorganize my shelf. That doesn't matter, right? There's the focus on the big goals. And then once you've got those ones, then go ahead and go out in your garage and tinker around, whatever else. But if you don't get clear on what those big goals are, then of course you'll never fit them because you never identified what they were. Okay? So, boom, boom, boom. Okay. Another quick analogy. Make sure that you're not spending your life or this month or this year climbing a ladder only to realize at the top that it's leaning against the wrong wall. Okay? Again, that's the reason for getting super clear on where you want to be first. Otherwise, we're going to be climbing ladders. We're climbing ladders, and all of a sudden we're like, crap, I climbed this ladder. Shoot, I'm supposed to be over there. We got to go back down and over there. So getting clear on where you want to be will ensure that you're not spending your life climbing ladders that are leaning against the wrong walls. So, okay. Let's go through, because when you have your dinner, I want you to kind of go through some of these to-do stuff. Does anybody know what a SMART goal is? What is a SMART goal? What does SMART stand for? Okay, I don't even need to do this stuff. You guys got this. You've been learning this stuff, right? So what does it mean to be specific? Okay, is what we're talking about with the Lambo. I want a Lambo. You think that's specific? It's not. A Lambo that's this color and it's got this color rims and that's specific, right? So getting super specific on exactly what it is. I want to get in shape. I want to run a race. How about I want to run a 5K race? I want to run and I on the mountains or whatever else it is. Measurable. I follow a training plan that increases my running distance by half a mile each week. Achievable. I'm going to start with 1 mile runs and gradually increase it to the distance. Relevant. And why is it important in my life? Improving my fitness is important for my overall health and well-being. Time bound. I'm ready to run the 5K race in 3 months. Now, let me talk to you about the time thing. Set your goals in stone. Set your timelines in sand. Okay? You need to set them, but if you say, okay, I want another $20 million under management in my fund, great. That's your goal. You've identified clearly what it is. And I want to do it by, or I have $20 million in my fund on December 31st, 2024, right? Clear, specific time. You get to December 31st and you only have $7.5 million in your fund. You're 7.5 more than you were today, right? So simply move the timeline. So set your goals in stone, set your timeline in sand, and then just keep moving it. But still set the timeline. Just don't beat yourself up when you're not quite there. No, that's the thing is if my plane gets diverted to Orlando or whatever else on the way, I'm like, okay, this plane didn't make it all the way to New York. I still have my goal of getting to New York. I call my sister, the travel agent. She says, okay, crap. That plane was late. It didn't quite get there in time. You can't take the one that you originally wanted and change it. Stay focused on your destination. If the project that you're raising for right now, you're like, crap, this is not working out that I wanted it to, that's okay. I can't tell you how many deals that John and I wanted to do that ended up not being what we thought they were. And so we had to just cut bait and say, all right, I'm going to keep going. Even coming into the 2008 crisis. So John and I, when I wanted to be the $1 billion fund, we had a company called Bridge Loan Capital, right? We were doing hard money lending. We're raising bridge loans for short-term deals and everything else. That was our vehicle. We were flying to New York with our vehicle. And then we hired Don, late 2006, and he comes into my office and he says, we're in trouble. I said, like, we are the company? He goes, no, the whole country, probably the whole world. We're looking at, this was This was a little more than a year plus before the 2008 crisis. Now, I didn't know that plane was going to get detoured, right? I thought it was going to New York. But he said, this is what's happening. He said, we're looking at a serious problem. And if you don't change, you're going to be upside down with every fund in your industry. You can't be a hard money lender on land and stuff like this coming into a crisis. And so we're like, okay, we've got to deal with this. I still had the goal going to New York. I still had the goal of being $1 billion fund. But realizing that not just the individual project, the entire fund that we were creating was going to crash. And so instead of saying, oh crap, we're gonna lick our wounds, I'm gonna go work at Walmart the rest of my life. No, I want to be $1 billion fund. I'm not letting that go. And so what we did is we says, okay, we're gonna act with integrity with this one, because that's one of those big rocks that we have. One of our goals, one of our standards, one of our virtues that we have is that we're going to treat every one of our investors with integrity. We're going to follow through with everything that we need to make sure that in whatever way possible, we're not going to lose their money. And if we did, we're going to do it with integrity. We're going to show them that we did everything possible to make sure that they weren't losing their money. But these were the things that happened in the market because of it. And sure enough, we had to put Bridge right here, Bridge Loan Capital, and John and I took 0 management fees and 0 income and continued to run that for 5 years on the side with no money while we were building another plane, right? While we were putting together the Bridge Investment Group team. And so the answer to your question is, you're going to have failures. You're going to have a project that you thought was the most perfect project in the world, and you couldn't get the investors in. You just couldn't make that happen. Or something changed. Interest rates changed. Boom, you're developing something in a place where there's the oil boom, and all of a sudden our president decides that we're not going to have any more U.S. money. Whatever it is, there's things that will change always. You have to take a look at the opportunities that are there. What am I missing? What am I seeing? And what are the opportunities that I can run with? And so here's what I want you to do while you're eating. I'm going to eat too. I want you to delve into that question some more. If time and money were no issue, what would I dream? And get super specific on the biggest, craziest stuff that you could dream to have and be and do. And write that down. And if it seems completely out of possibility, then we don't lower it. You can if you want to. You have 2 choices. You can either lower it to something that's believable, or you can change your belief in yourself. Either one is okay. If you want to keep it there, keep it there. But be like my first wife. I'm going to be a 49ers cheerleader. It's unbelievable, but I can still get there. You know? Me, I'm going to be $1 billion fund. The entire market just crashed, but we're still going to get there, right? So write down, if time and money were no issue, what would I dream? Ask yourself, and that's the clarity. In fact, I'm just going to let you do that because that's more important than anything else that we can do, and then we'll go through a bunch of this stuff. So I'm going to eat, and then we'll keep talking after, okay? So take some time on that. Love you guys.